Hello, my name is Wyatt Morris, and for this presentation, I am going to be presenting Chapter 14 of Dr. Parrott's book, High Maintenance Relationships, and this chapter is over the workhorse. So let's go ahead and dive in. So, what makes someone a workhorse? So, according to Dr. Parrott's book, um, a workhorse is tireless. They never stop. They never stop to take a breath. And if they do stop, if you do see them not doing anything, usually they're planning something else to do. Work is always on their mind, and it's never not on their mind. And if you think it is, you're wrong. They're thinking about work. They're driven. They have ambition, and it's cranked up to 11. They these people are usually found in professional occupations, and they always want to climb that ladder of success. Um, and because they are some of them and most of them are actually successful, they become smug. So that's the next one. They have a proficiency or an expertise in something that a lot of people around them might not have. And so what happens is because they feel like they know so much, they start to look down on other people because of that. So they can be very smug. They're unsatisfied. Nothing they do is ever good enough, and that will come back later, a little bit later here in a second. Um, they're always looking for the next thing, and so that it goes back to driven. It's pushed because they're unsatisfied. They're driven to do more, and they're tireless, and they're smug. All of these things are just compounding upon each other. Um, and they're impatient. They're always in a hurry. They never, again, tireless. They never stop. Perfectionistic. So this goes back to unsatisfied. Whenever something is not correct, they punish themselves, and they are unsatisfied with their work, or they will find a flaw in something because they're looking for flaws. They're not looking at what they did right, they're looking at the flaws and the things that they did wrong, and they'll beat themselves up about it. Restless. When they finish something, they're not ready to celebrate. That's kind of like the farthest thing from their mind. They don't really want to do that. They're just like, okay, that success is gone. That's successful. Now I need a new success to validate myself. Um, so they're restless. They're always working. It goes back to tireless and driven, all of those things. And then intimidating. With workhorses, they will have accomplished some pretty cool things, um, project wise, or very impressive things. And so um, they can make others feel intimidated just because of, well, this person did this and they know it. And it's like walking into uh, the president's office because you know that they have accomplished so much to get to that point. Even speaking to this person is intimidating. So a lot of people will feel intimidated when around a workhorse. So this is some of the attributes that Dr. Parrott has in his book when identifying a workhorse. So to accompany that list of traits, Dr. Parrott also has a workhorse quiz that's found within the chapter of his book, High Maintenance Relationships. And these are just a list of yes or no questions. So if you were to read through these and you were like, oh yeah, that person is this, you would say yes for that question. So these are the questions, or these are the prompts. This person sometimes takes work-related materials like papers, reading material, laptop, computer on vacation or to bed. Once this person starts a job, there's no rest or peace of mind until that job is finished. This person is constantly needs to be doing something. They work long days, brings work home. They expect perfection of himself or herself and others. They have few close friends with whom they share feelings, and this person seems relentlessly, restless. Always restless. This is the latter half of this quiz. So we're still answering these yes or no questions, and so does this person make people feel threatened? So many people feel threatened by this person's productivity and matter of fact lifestyle. This person will focus on one little thing that is wrong. It seems that would be winding down after a long, hard project. The person is gearing up for a new one, so they don't stop. You think they'd be winding down, but they're not. This person tries to do several things at once. Sometimes get the feeling that this person looks down on others and sees them as less competent than he or she is. This person is extremely time conscious, and sometimes we worry that this person's physical or emotional health. So if you answered yes to 10 or more of these, you are dealing with a workhorse. So this is kind of a practical way to identify them, not just by the traits, but actual prompts to or descriptions to look for. So you can take this into the ministry setting to identify a workhorse if they even need uh, some identification. You might already know it once you get into a ministry setting. So now we're going to move on to the rest of this. So diving deeper into the workhorse's mind. So we've already been able to identify if someone is a workhorse or not. And so we need to take time to understand the context of the person. At Clear Creek, we know that context is always key. And we can't really move any forward with anything unless we know the context. And so we need to know the context of this workhorse. How did they get there? One of the things that Dr. Parrott says is that workhorses have a low self-esteem, and that comes from having high expectations put upon them at some point in their life. And the only way that they could receive love from their parents, their guardians, or whoever's in charge of them, their spouse or whoever, is if they perform exceptionally well to those high standards, to a T. And so what happens is they exchange their work to get love. The next thing, and that's why they think low of themselves, because those high standards are so hard for us to 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 live up to. And so more times than not, that person is going to fail because we're all sinners. And we know that we all mess up. And so the workhorse is no different. But when they view that their failure means that they're not worthy or they are not loved, that's when the issue kicks in. They end up finding their worth and identity in their work, specifically their successes. And so when success comes their way, it's actually being detrimental to them because of the way they see the world. It indirectly feeds into that feeling of inferiority, that they feel so unqualified and they are worth nothing. Because think about it. They reach success, but then after success, it's just an open playing field now. It's empty, it's hollow. They have to come up with something. They have to come up with something to get more validation, to get more success. So that is why um, they end up finding their identity in their work because, and their worth in their work, because they have a low self-esteem, which stems from a works-based, a conditional type of love that they have been shown for a majority of their life, or yeah, for a majority of their life. So they also feel like something is missing in their life. They're so focused on their next success and they jump to that next project, they don't take time to be satisfied with what they've done, to celebrate what they've done, and really to just take it all in. They feel empty. Like I said earlier, they feel empty after that success hits because honestly, it reminds me of drug abuse. They take a drug and it makes them high for a little while, but yet then after that they feel empty. It's the same way. It's the same thing. So like that, that's what success is to this person. And so they're always, because that success is not ongoing, it's not an ongoing period of time. They strive for it, they crave it, they need it because they want to feel loved. And then they would usually say that working all the time is just their lot in life. And they'll justify their habits by saying that they just need to provide or that their work is helping others. They'll try to play it off as being normal, or that they just care about excellence. But really, what it is this person is starved for unconditional love, and that's what this boils down to, really. So now that we have dove deeper into the mind of a workhorse, we need to figure out how to deal with them in a ministry setting. So these are just a few of my ideas before I get into what Dr. Parrott says, and he does a great job in these. But my thing, knowing that this person is starved for unconditional love, we need to be kind to this person. We don't want to tear them down. We want to show compassion because we see now like where that's kind of coming from. They feel like they have to earn every ounce of love that they get. And that success makes them feel like, oh, I'm worthy or I'm loved. Grant mercy because sometimes these people, like the list of attributes said that Dr. Parrott had, they can be smug. They'll be hypercritical as well. And so they might say something to you that is extremely rude, but we have to grant mercy in that. And we don't need to take those things to heart because when we really see the context of where this person is coming from, we will we will be more willing to grant them grace because it's like, okay, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. So these are just a few of my ideas. They're basic, but I really am excited to dive into how Dr. Parrott deals with these and how we can apply them to the ministry setting. So these are a few things, not every single thing that Dr. Parrott has said in his book about dealing with a workhorse. So the first thing that he mentions is setting boundaries. You can feed off of their energy because they're just go, go, go all the time. They're like the Energizer Bunny. They never stop. We can feed off that energy, but if we do, we're going to end up becoming a workhorse ourselves. So we need to set aside a decent amount of work for us to do every day and to finish it, to get done what we need to get done, and then be done. And if they see us doing that, and they even ask us about that, like, why aren't you doing any more? Why aren't you doing more work? You could do so much more. Tell them, well, I have set aside the things that are essential for today, and I got those things done. Now I'm going to go home. I'm going to do whatever else I need to do at home, spend time with my family, play with my kids, things like that. And that might get them to think maybe I need to set those boundaries too. Maybe I need to do that. But they might respond negatively at first before thinking that. But that's one way that Dr. Parrott says that we could deal with the workhorse. Another thing is to remind them of their humanity. And I'm also going to throw in giving grace, which is a couple bullet points down from the humanity bullet. Those two things are so closely related. Everyone's going to mess up. We know that Romans 3:23 says that all have sinned and all have fallen short of the glory of God. We all fall short. They are perfectionists. They're going to hate that. But they need to learn how to accept that because if they don't, you could ask them, well, I mean, or you could tell them, like Jesus died for a reason. Jesus died because we are flawed human beings and we make mistakes. He gives us grace. And when they come to us and they're talking about their mistakes, we need to give them grace as well and love. We need to have fun even if they don't. If we have a scheduled work party or an office party or like with the whole church staff, drag them to it even if they don't want to come. Have fun with them in the close vicinity. They might, for a little while, they might absolutely hate it, but they might just have fun and they might just sit back and think, what am I missing? Because I'm working so much. I'm missing all this fun. Like this is actually kind of fun. So doing that would be good. Listening to them. Dr. Parrott has a really good portion of this in the book, and he says if they make a statement that's a very emotional statement, highlight the emotion. So the statement that he has here, because I just couldn't find a better example, the workhorse might say people aren't just following through on their assignments. And then the other person could say to highlight that emotion, to say it sounds as if you were disappointed in your colleagues. By highlighting that, it's going to bring that emotion up and it's going to make them think about that. And then they might change their tune. Ask them how they have spent time with their family. Tell them how you spent time with your family, not theirs. Um, and then ask them, hey, what'd you do? Did you do anything with your family? This is what I did with mine. You guys got anything planned the weekend? Have them think about their family. And by doing that, it might tell them, hey, I might need to spend some more time with my family. And then showing gratitude, being thankful for the small things, even the big things too. The small things are a lot of times in life is where things matter the most. And so by being thankful and being openly grateful, genuinely grateful for things, that could rub off on them and be like, hey, I'm actually kind of grateful for this. And so I'm grateful for the time that I have with my family. I'm grateful for the work that I have. I'm grateful for my coworkers, all those things. It's a very positive outlook. So the last thing that Dr. Parrott says is that we do not need to give up hope. You know, keep working alongside these workhorses, uh, and practice the things that we've talked about, in any setting, but especially the ministry setting. We need to live life with them and love on them so that they can see what's going on, turn away from it. Thank you so much for listening for this presentation. This is the workhorse and how we should deal with it in a ministry setting.